Hey there, Joe here in the rush shop. Got a day off, so to speak. I've been running around, some of it. Was up early this morning, had to run over to the girlfriend's house, feed her cats, and when I get there, she's out of cat food. So I ran up to Walmart, got some, came back and fed them. I had her mail picked up last night, and I took her new book she got over to the temporary residence she's in. She's still getting physical therapy. She's getting released tomorrow. She's going to go live with her son-in-law and daughter for a few weeks, a week, 2 weeks. I don't know how long until she's recovered enough to go back home. In the meantime, I still take care of her cats and her apartment and stuff and my place. And what time is it now? It's like 4:20 here in Youngstown, Ohio. And on a sad note, I've told some about this already. My mom did pass, sadly, but at the same time, gladly, because she's in a better place now. She had gone downhill quite rapidly this past week. She was released from the center she was in. They didn't do a very good job with her, by the way. It's called Directions Behavioral Health in Youngstown, Ohio. This is how we feel about them. I don't think they took care of her properly. I don't think they paid attention to her properly. I think the place, even though it has a geriatric ward, I think it's more about people that are junkies than anything. And I don't think they did a good job, so fuck them, okay? I'll say it, fuck them. Not all the employees are bad people. Don't get me wrong. There were some very sweet, nice people, but fuck them. So anyhow, but a lot of it couldn't be helped. She was on her way out. Unfortunately, she had had some mini strokes over the summer and all that good stuff. But she had gone downhill really bad this week. They rushed her to the ER because her oxygen level was down to like 70, which it's supposed to be like 100. So they got her in the ER. They got her on oxygen, which she was fighting it. She was trying to pull the tubes out, the breathing apparatus out, constantly taking the mask off and throwing it aside. We have to keep fighting her to keep it on. Every time she'd pull it away from her mouth even a little bit, you see her oxygen level go bloop, 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 back down. I mean, she was doing bad. And they got her into the hospital. They admitted her fully. And hospice came and talked to my sister and myself and, my other sister, and they just basically asked us and told us that, hey, she's rapidly declining. Do you want to, resuscitate? Do you want to keep her going? I basically said to the one, I said, look, unless you guys have a miracle cure you can inject her with or some process that's going to, spring her back, take her back, 5 years or something, and she's going to be, bing, back to normal, and she's going to be happy and healthy and be able to do everything. We're better to let her go at this point. So we basically told them no resuscitation, no chest compressions. And so yesterday they came in, they talked to us some more, and the doctor goes, yeah, she's rapidly declining more. Her oxygen level, even with the oxygen on, isn't doing good. She's kind of doing one of these. It's not increasing enough. They said they could, transport her to a hospice house, but they really couldn't because of the oxygen she's on. They said she may not survive even to transport up there. So they said we could do hospice in the hospital room. Basically, at that point, the hospital washes their hands of her and she becomes a hospice patient. So the hospice team kind of takes over. So, yesterday around 4 p.m., they basically took her off the big oxygen and put her on a little one, and they took the monitors off her, and they said, hey, the room is yours. It's all yours. I mean, if you want to sleep here, do whatever. And, if it takes a few hours, if it takes a few days, you have it. So that's what we did. So most of the day yesterday from 4 p.m. on was more or less waiting for the inevitable. As soon as they shot her up on the morphine, she was out. Finally, because up until then she was kicking and screaming and fighting us and yelling and screaming names of people that meant something to her at one point in her life or another. Even friends she had a falling out with, she was calling out to them. So it was hard to watch. And there goes Dewey's in the paper bag. But anyhow, I finally got too tired last night. It was like after 10. I had gotten there 7 in the morning because my brother-in-law, I had a job interview at 10. He goes, hey, can you be here in the morning and relieve me around 10? Or 9:30, actually, so he can have time to get to the interview. I said, yeah, sure. So I got there at 7. It's still dark outside. The hallways are dark. They didn't turn the lights on yet. So I went to the cafeteria, had a quick breakfast. Then around 7:30, I got up to her room and the lights were on. And she had a sitter and all this stuff in there. And then so I got there. Then my sister and brother-in-law showed up. And it got to be about 10 o'clock. And my brother-in-law realized, oops, I forgot about the interview. So he went and called them, explained the situation. And so later in the day, you know, they came to us and told us the situation, that it's declining worse. What do you want to do? And so they disconnected everything. And around 4 p.m. on, we just waited. And so anyhow, it got to be about 10 o'clock at night, and I'm sitting there dreary-eyed as hell because I usually hit the hay sometimes as early as 8:45, 9, sometimes later about 10, 10:30. But it's already after 10, and I'm like, oh, my God, I can't stay awake. I know it's my mom, but it could be 6 o'clock the next day. We don't know, you know. So I told my younger sister left. My youngest sister was still there, and I finally told her about 10:20, 25. I said, look, Joanne, I love Mom and all, but I can't wait. I just can't. I said, I'm going to have to duck out. So she goes, yeah, but could you take Paul? That's her husband, my brother-in-law. He had gone home to check on their dogs, and he had come back. And this hospital, once you get to a certain time, they lock the doors. You can go out, but you can't come back in unless you come in the ER. So I met him in the parking deck next to my truck. I took him around the block to the other side of the building because it's a big building, and took him to the ER entrance. He went in. So I got home probably about 11 o'clock even because I had to pick up some mail on my girlfriend's porch. I'm surprised it didn't get wet or didn't get stolen. And so I got home about almost 11 o'clock dead even. And I get a ding on my phone. I look down. My sister goes, she's gone. So basically a few minutes after I left, she passed. So it's sad, but at the same time, it's a relief because she's in a better place. There was no cure. There was no bringing her back. There wasn't even leveling her out at this point, sadly. You know, if she had gone to the next assisted living we had reserved for her, she'd been back in the ER literally a couple days later. She wasn't going to make it because basically at this assisted living place she was going to, they have to be somewhat functional, and she wasn't going to be. At the rapid oxygen decline she had going, it sadly just wasn't going to happen. You know, what would we buy her? Another day, another, day and a half at most, she'd be back in the ER. So at that point, it was better to let her go. So now we're going to have like we did with my dad. We're not having a full-on funeral. She is being cremated. And, we're going to have just a little memorial at this one hall over in Struthers on the November 7th. It'll be like from 2 to 8, and, we're going to have it catered. She has enough money, fortunately, in her account to cover that because she's paid up at the assisted living. She has some extra cash, so that's going to cover that. We don't have to pull the money out of our pockets, thank God, because I don't really have it. I mean, I do, but I don't. And so that's where we're at. But hey, now enough of the sadness. Let's have some gladness and some madness. And that would be model madness. Oh, by the way, thanks for watching the video to those I didn't even know were watching my videos. Howard Miner. I haven't seen him in years. Saw him in Boardman Hobby today. I thought that was him. I'm looking at him, and he looks at me. I'm going, Howard? Joe? Yeah, hey, long time no see. I wasn't even sure if he was still living. He went through some health issues as well as I did. So he's a few years older than me. I think he said 66. So I'm glad to see he's still around. And I found Harmon from Andrew's Hardware and the Hobby Shop section. Found he's watching my channel. I'm like, I didn't know so many people were watching my channel, but they are. So hey, thanks so much for watching. That's really appreciated. So while I was in Andrew's, oh, hold on, I'm stepping on stuff. There's deuces making a mess of the floor. I picked up more, as if I should be spending the money, but I got some money coming here. I'm owed a few bucks, so I just got to get that collected here in the next couple days. I did pick up this. Now, the K code, I don't know the real truth. I didn't do the research, but I read somewhere said that it's got the 289. But I guess the 260 was also a K code car. I think it was something about the car, not so much the engine that made it a K code. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on any of that. I'm not a Ford or Mercury expert. I heard Ford and Mercury both designated K code cars differently. So a Mercury K code is not the same as a Ford K code. I read a few different things online on the comments. I'm like, I'm not sure what's true. Now, the only unfortunate thing about this kit to me is it got the AFX twin scoop hood, which is more of a drag car thing. Really, come on, resin casters, 3D printers, get out there, make a nice flat hood, and or make a teardrop hood, or make a hood with a hole for a blower, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's a cool kit. It's the usual. There goes Deuce playing in the paper bag. It's got the usual, you know, colorful instructions and all that stuff. It looks like a really nice kit. I'm just hoping someone does the hood. Not that I'm going to get to either of these right away, so I got time to wait for the hood. I mean, if I'm going to make it an AFX type car or drag car, I guess the hood's great. But if I want to make one, you know, street type thing, yeah, it's not quite the hood. So, but there's that. I bought that today. And I think I may already have one of these. I got to look up in my Corvette collection. I'm looking up there now, and let me see, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I have one of these. I got the 69 427 Vet, but I don't have one of these. The 68 L88 convertible Corvette. Same old kit Revell always had. It's got the blown engine with the Moroso valve covers. It's got the 90s style wheels, which those don't really do much for me. They'll probably go in a parts box or something. I'll probably put something more appropriate. It does come with red line tires, but they're kind of wide for a 60s car. They kind of look slightly out of place. It's the GT radials they've always had. The slightly fatter tires than the steel belted tires they had with the red line. They look kind of cool, but they're kind of big for a red line tire. But they'll work. Maybe I'll use them, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll use those rims, maybe I won't. But yeah, it's the same old kit from the probably late 80s, early 90s. But, you know, hey, I saw it. I had to have it. Then this, I thought wasn't coming out till later. You know, maybe November, December. But this. Now, I've heard comments. I've read comments. Oh, that's just the old Monogram 124th kit. No, it's not. This is another edition of the Stranger's Thing 125th scale. They converted it, however, to the GMC grill. And it does have some cool stuff. It has the step bars. I didn't open and go through the whole thing yet. It does have the, you know, wagon type wheels. The center hubs are separate. Chrome pieces. The wheels are molded in white plastic. Got the light bar up here. It also has the light bar lenses, at least, for the police car version from the Stranger's Thing. I didn't look to see if it has the base for the light bar, just the lenses. They're on the clear part. But hey, extra parts is extra parts. Am I right? Yeah, the decals are reminiscent of the old Monogram 124 scale high roller version. It does have some rather nice tires. You know, unlettered, of course, because God forbid we have tires with lettering anymore, because all the copyright stuff, which I've never understood. Like, wouldn't you want your tires to be advertised for basically free? Hey, a model company or a toy company is going to take your tires, your vehicle, and duplicate it and sell it. Isn't that going to make young people go, wow, I really like Chevy Blazers. I like Goodyear Wranglers or Goodyear Foresters or whatever the name of the tires. When I get older and I buy a real car, I'm going to buy them. And even for adults, they're going to go, oh, those tires look killer. Maybe I'll buy them. But now, you know, we got to do this generic tire thing, you know. But yeah, there they are. They're, you know, slightly bigger. They look pretty nice. I'll try to get you a view of them here. But yeah, overall, it's the same kit. The bodies are the same. My only disappointment on these kits is, I may have mentioned this in the last video, is these depressions where the mirrors are. Now, for slot car use, I usually leave mirrors off because they get handled way too much and picked up. Mirrors are going to get snapped off. If the mirrors are the ones with the big holes and they actually wedge in and glue in tightly, I put them. If they're a mirror that barely glues on, I don't use them. Like on the Nova, you get the base and the mirror separate. Those last one night of drag racing. But these have these depressions. Now, I looked up the real doors. I'm like, well, do the real Blazer and Silverado doors have a depression where the mirrors go? No, they don't. So what I'm probably going to do is cut out a piece of sheet plastic in that shape and paint it silver or grayish black, drill some holes in it, and then glue it on there so it looks like the base to the mirror. Because there is a base to the mirror that goes on there. Then the mirror, you know, that cover kind of snaps and bolts over, I think. So, yeah, I'm still kind of working on this slot car body, but with the stuff at my mom, I wasn't on this stuff this week like I should be. So, I mean, now I'm going to have a little more time to get to it. This here, what's this? It still smells like fresh primer and paint. This is the base. Hold on. Let me entertain you. That's for this. Oh, this is my car I built for Kim's Custom Garage. I think it's been a couple years now. This is for his Christmas build. And I went with the Toys for Tots theme on the 63 wagon. I showed this video before. You'd have to go back to Joe's Rush Shop instead of the new Rush Shop. It's full of toys in the back. Now, some of those are the mini micro Hot Wheels cars that they had, the die-cast. So this thing does have some weight to the back of it. If I let it go, it's got some weight. Because some of these are die-cast and there's some, you really can't maybe see in there too well, but there's some little board games. Those are dollhouse miniatures. And then I also used the trophy cars from the top of AMT kits. I just painted them up and made them look like RC cars or toy cars. Well, anyhow, that is going to go on this base. Probably actually this direction. And that's the Toys for Tots. That's going to get anchored down with the wires they send. And I'm going to put the marine decals, which I have right here, probably down on the ground and put Marines parking only. And what we're doing at our shop, we're having a Toys for Tots drive on November. Deuce just jumped on my lap and stepped you know where. We're having a Toys for Tots drive. Now, I don't know if we're having a Chinese auction or not at this one, but if we are, I'm going to donate that. And I'll put it in the case and bolt it down. Either way, I'll show it to the, the rep is there. One of the Marines is actually there. He was at our rally, our Jeep Jamboree about a month ago. And I forgot to bring this. I wanted to show it to him. So I showed him some pictures, but I said, hey, Toys for Tots, 1947 California. He goes, yep. He goes, you did your research? I said, yes, I did. So I built that as a little tribute to the Marines and Toys for Tots. So I'm going to, make that, complete that. I already drilled it out for the little screws so it doesn't fall apart. And I just got to wire it down, make the parking spot, and there's something to donate. And then I just got to finish my other stuff here. But I got a bunch of slot car bodies I got to get finished because I just spent way too much money the past couple of days, especially today. But I went to Andrews and, up there in Warren again, and he's got some great prices. Nice, Harmon's a great guy. And I talked to Michael Blaskovich. I think that's his name. I'm probably murdering it, but he's from the Shenango Valley Scale Modelers Association. And he bought a bunch of kits for me a few months ago when I really needed the cash and sold a bunch. And I was telling him, basically my stash, I'm looking at the shelves now. It's pretty much back to where it was after I sold him a bunch of stuff and reduced my collection like this. I'm looking at it now going, yeah, except for some big rigs on the very top shelf up here and maybe a couple right here. It's almost as many kits, if not more, than I did have initially. Oh, God. I was telling the guys today, I was telling Howard today, because Howard saved all his kits. He got out of it for about 20 years. And he told me his mom goes, whatever you do, don't sell it all. Just keep it in case you want to get back into it. And yeah, he's back into it. So the only reason I sold it is because I needed the money because I was out of work for a while there. I just needed the extra cash. And, so right now I'm looking at this going, it's kind of back where it was, Joe. You do realize that, don't you? So I really got to get my butt moving on some of these. Now, some of these I'm going to build as is. That Blazer is going to go as a slot car body. This one will probably get built as is. And, some of these others will be slot car fodder. Like I said, come on, 3D printers, get moving on the hoods for these Comets. I really like, see one without the twin snorkel scoops, or nostril scoops, as some are calling them. That's great for the AFX drag cars, but it's not really correct for, a street machine or something like that. So hopefully Mobius, who knows, they might make another edition with a flat hood. But I'm sure one of you resin caster / 3D printer guys are going to step up and do this. Because it's going to be a popular kit. It's a really nice, especially the Pro Touring. I showed you that in the last video. I would show you this one, but it's just a stock Comet. The only difference is it's got skinny wheels and tires and stuff like that. It's got a regular chassis. It doesn't have the... hold on, Deuce, get down. Oh my God, Deuce is so lovey-dovey. Ever since the hospital stay, he's been extremely clingy. Yeah, as you can see there, it's just got the stock chassis. Stock engine. So it's not as Pro Touring. And the only thing the Pro Touring thing lacks is... the AC and a rear seat if you want it, because I figure most Pro Tours might be a family guy taking his wife and kids on the tour with them, so a back seat would probably be appropriate. What would really be cool, and I guess I could scratch build one if I'm really desperate, but what you resin guys and 3D printers are missing out on, speaking of families and Pro Touring, how about baby seats? Okay, the modern style and maybe the old style. The style we old farts grew up on or grew up in. If you remember those just had those folding hooks that hooked over the seat with no seat belts, holding them in. The metal tubes, which is basically you just sat in them, kind of like a huge shopping cart seat. So yeah, that would be a nice 3D print thing. That would really make them look accurate. Because I know some of those Pro Touring guys do take their wife and kid or kids along, and they go on a summer excursion on a Pro Tour. Those super cruises and all those other things they do. But yeah, that's what I kind of been working on. And like I said, mom's gone. So that's it. Mom's gone, dad's gone, grandmas are gone. I think I only have one uncle left. It's my Uncle Ricky. He's probably got about, I'd say 10, 12 years on me. He's a younger uncle. He was born late. Because when I was a kid, he was a teenager. So, and when I was a teenager, he was probably in college. So he's got like 10 years on me, 10, 12 years maybe. He lives down in Columbus. So that's my last. Well, I do have one aunt left. She's out in California. I haven't seen her in decades. She visited here years and years ago. Probably the last time I seen her was, oh God, I want to say late 70s, very early 80s before I graduated. So that was the last time she's here. She's out in California now. That's about it. We have a very small family. I saw my cousin last night. She came to visit my mom for a couple hours, and my other cousin Jeff and Cindy are still here in the Youngstown area. But when it comes to the older relatives, uncles and aunts and stuff like that, there's virtually nobody left. And if they are left, I think they're close to the condition of my mom. They're probably not around here, or they're close too. So some of my mom, I asked my sister, is it worth having a memorial for my mom? Who's left? And there's a handful of people that'll show, and some of my friends will show it because they loved my mom. But because it surprised me how many people showed up for my dad's memorial a few years back. I really didn't expect half as many. I was like, wow, there's more people here than I thought, But my uncle came up from Columbus and, with his wife, I think. So that's about it. So anyhow, yeah, that's where I'm at today. I'm going to put some of this stuff away and maybe get this Nova wagon diorama show display case done so it's ready to be donated. In fact, I even glued the hood on, but I only glued it on with the white glue. So this way, if somebody picks it up and tilts it over to look at it, the hood's not going to fall off. Not that there's much in there. I didn't wire the engine. I just painted it Chevy orange. It's got the, the 6 popper that came with it, because this is the version that came with an engine and trailer and all. But yeah, that's it. Just a Toys for Tots tribute truck. It's even got the once a Marine, always a Marine decal. So that'll go on the display base. I'll finish that off and encase that in plastic, and that'll be ready for donation when the time comes. Or who knows? It'll help. If it helps raise a few bucks for the cause, it's worth it. And I still got the cancer van over here that's got to be finished. The off-road Jeep, I showed you that. That's all finished. So, next time we have our Jeep Jamboree or something with a Chinese auction for the Jeep guys, that's going to go up. And hopefully, get myself comfortable here. I'm sinking in this chair. Hopefully that'll raise a few bucks. But I'm going to take off here and go do a few things, put some of this crap away, and maybe work on the Nova and work on a few of the slot car bodies so I can get those sold and replenish some of the money I just spent. And hopefully the money that's owed to me will be coming through here tomorrow or the next day, and I'll have some money to put back in the bank to replenish what I've spent, which was way too much, because I'm a bad judge of spending money. But like I told Michael today, I said, well, I guess it's better than drugs or alcohol and stuff like that. I could spend money on a lot worse things than that. But I do need to get some other scrap taken care of and make it priorities rather than model kits. Oh, I also picked up, I'm not going to show it to you. You've all seen it, the Revell 49 Mercury kit. I got one on eBay because I just wanted to have another one. It was a reasonable price with shipping. And I'm really hoping they reissue some of those kits and some of the other short run kits they did. Revell has a really bad habit of releasing a kit. You get one version of it and it's gone. Like the 67 Camaros, they could really bring those back. The 49 Merc, the Merc Wagon. There's a few other kits that they temporarily, brought out and eliminated them as fast as they issued them. Like, don't do that. Bring them back out. They're great kits. I'd love to see them again. And first yawn. I'm surprised, considering how late I was up. And I'm looking around seeing if there's anything else I missed. And I don't believe I missed nothing. I think everything is caught up to date. And I'll definitely be getting more of the Mobius Comets. As soon as Tom gets them in at Boardman Hobby, I'll probably buy a couple from him. Just so I always like spreading myself around when it comes to the local hobby shops. Oh, that's another subject before I split. This video is going to be long. You don't have to watch it. You can listen to it. But we were talking today that, I was talking to Harmon, like, you guys and Boardman Hobby are the last two mom and pop brick and mortar stores. I mean, once they're gone, they retire and move on. Who's left? It's Hobby Lobby, and that's it. I mean, Walmart's around here hardly ever carry models. I see people posting all the time, look at these great deals. Some of them are $11 a piece. I'm like, oh, come on. Why doesn't our freaking Walmart have them? $11 a piece, $13 a piece. They clearance them out for $5 a piece. Sometimes I saw a couple postings the other day. And all Walmart hardly ever has hot bottles. Excuse me. Here it comes. But yeah, anyhow, it's like, what's going to happen? We're going to be stuck with Hobby Lobby in their occasional sale, but they don't have a great selection. And online, which is gonna, the shipping is gonna negate any great prices they have, unless you buy in bulk and save on shipping. When you buy a handful or something, but you're gonna have to buy a handful at one time to get it. So, and she's up there. I think it was Harmon's wife. She goes, unless some of you guys open a hobby shop. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if that would even be possible. The only way we could do that is a bunch of us, go in together on the rent and or lease of a building and open one, and we all share in the expenses. But I don't know how much money we'd even make, how we'd have to price kits out to make that happen. That we would have enough to actually keep the shop alive and maybe make something. I'd like to make a little bit, but I'd also like to have a hobby shop open for the sake of keeping the hobby alive. Keep the kits priced decently enough that people will buy them. Plus, we'd have to have more besides model cars, because I don't think a hobby shop just based on that would work. We'd probably have to, do other stuff and get knowledgeable in it, which I'm sure if we had a circle of local guys, there's some guys that also know the RC and all that good stuff. And, but I'd like to keep the hobby alive around here, but, excuse me, I'm not sure of the practicality and the financial solvency of that. God, when I was a kid, there was a lot of hobby shops around here. Some of you, let me know in the comments if you remember Struthers Hobby Shop that was in the plaza where the candy store is there on Youngstown Pullen Road in Midlothian. There used to be a Mavar's supermarket there. That's where my mom worked, and that hobby shop was there from the late 70s to the early 80s before he closed up. There was, I don't remember his name at all, and it really drives me nuts, but there was a small hobby shop at the top of South Avenue, not far from where it splits. And you head up to Midlothian there, and there's that little split there. There was a little plaza there that had a convenience store and a couple other things. And there was a hobby shop there. There was Moss Black Hobby Shop down in Salem, which was really old school. It was one of those old, wooden floor type of buildings. It was right there on the main road going through Salem. And there was Breastplate Hobby. There was a couple others. There was Trumbull Camera and Hobby. They had camera stuff. They had hobby stuff, slot cars, and back in the late 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, maybe they closed out the hobby section and just kept it cameras. And that's what got me back into it, actually, because my sister worked there, and I went up there and bought a cardboard box full of models and model supplies for like $25. So I couldn't beat that. And so anyhow, I probably held up, oh my God, a half freaking hour of your time. I really hope I didn't kill your entire time. But hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Even people I didn't know watched my channel. My buddy Ed, Howard, Harmon, Andrews. I'm like, I didn't know these people watched. I just found out today. Well, not today about all of them, but some of them. Harmon and, I found out he watched, and I found out Howard watched today. And, a couple months ago, I found out my buddy Ed watches my channel. And one of his friends watched. So, hey, thanks all of you for watching. And if you aren't subscribed to this version, Joe's New Rush Shop, please do so. Because I don't think I'm ever getting the old Joe's Rush Shop back. In fact, I got to get on Facebook and make a Joe's New Rush Shop Facebook page. I'm going to just let the other one decline, I guess. I can at least easily go on there and like download a lot of the pictures and shift them over. I wish I had more photos, but changing my phones as many times as I have, it seems I've lost a lot of my photos of all the slot car bodies I did. I wish I had a picture of, at least one picture of every one I ever did. I wish I would have kept the record of how many I've done, because I've lost track. Honestly, I've done quite a few over the years. But hey, it's time for me to get my ass moving and go do some stuff and figure out what I'm going to have for dinner. And that's about it. So, hey, thanks for watching. And like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you all later. Bye-bye.